Thank you, Senator Cotton. Senator Blumenthal, please.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Let me begin by adding an exclamation point to the point that Senator Cotton just raised about the need for ample resources devoted to our national defense, most especially the kind of work that you are doing. I think your testimony today reinforces my hope that we will have bipartisan support for that kind of sufficient investment in our national defense. I've been to Ukraine 3 times over the roughly last year, once before the invasion, and had an opportunity to talk to some of the Special Forces trainers who were there working with Ukrainian personnel. General Fenton, I am hoping that there has been continued training outside of Ukraine. I realize none of those Special Operation Forces are located physically there now. When I was there last, a number of weeks ago, none were there, at least visibly to us. But I'm hoping that that training mission is continuing outside of Ukraine.
Senator, thank you for that. It absolutely is continuing outside of Ukraine in a number of locations, bringing the capability that continues to assist Ukrainian SOF as part of the entire Ukrainian military. And that training goes along a number of the lines you've seen before. The capability to defend themselves, the capability to mission plan and orient, an understanding of the intelligence, and certainly an understanding of creating dilemmas for the Russian formation. And so the Ukrainian SOF is a key part of the Ukrainian military's approach. We do that as your special operations team, certainly under General Cavoli's direction and watch, and in concert with his teammates, in order that that is integrated with the entirety of the approach that SecDef's directed.
What's your assessment as to how well the Ukrainian Special Forces have operated?
Senator, I think they've been superb from the very beginning. And I will start the journey in the mid-90s when Special Operations, Special Forces in particular, our 10th Special Forces Group, made contact with Ukrainian forces after the fall of the Soviet Union. And that generational relationship, something that's very, very important to your special operations community, in my sense, laid the pathway for, in 2014, our ability to really get after it after the first invasion by the Russians.
Thank you.
So they've done superbly well, and they've been extremely willing to prepare and to fight.
And to learn.
And to learn, yes, sir.
General Nakasone, I think a number of experts have been somewhat surprised that the Russians haven't been more aggressive in the cyber sphere against Ukraine in this past year. What's your assessment as to why they haven't been more aggressive, why they've been somewhat apparently quiescent, or maybe the Ukrainians have just resisted and fended them off without our knowing it?
Senator, the Russians have been very active in Ukraine in terms of conducting a number of cyber attacks, including destructive and disruptive attacks. I think there's several pieces of the story here that are important, though. First of all, when you begin the plan and you think it's going to be a very easy invasion, perhaps you don't do enough planning with regards to your enabling activities. Secondly, give full credit to the Ukrainians. They did a tremendous job in terms of building their cybersecurity resilience. And the third piece is that this is, again, for persistent engagement, my discussion previously, being able to enable and act with your partners. The Russians have not been as successful, and there's a number of reasons for that, and I would point also to the fact that we've been able to bring a series of partners, including the private sector, that have a tremendous capability and capacity against the Russians.
I've been impressed when I have spoken to President Zelensky with his focus on cyber. Do you think that there is a greatly increased danger or risk of Russian cyber attack if the counteroffensive anticipated this spring by Ukraine is successful?
We're watching this very carefully. This is the matter of vigilance that I spoke to earlier, because By no means is this done in terms of the Russia-Ukraine situation. And so as Russia looks at, armaments coming into the country, as Russia looks at different support, how do they react? One of the things that we are charged with is ensuring the security of the U.S. critical infrastructure and key resources with our partners in DHS and FBI. And so this is something that we're working closely every single day on, Senator.
Thank you. Thank you very much to you all, and thank you for your service.